I've never found a love like this. There it is. I've never found a love like this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. Big game tomorrow. Huge game for West Ham, but let's all talk about it. To my right is Tommy, and we're going to talk about West Ham United versus Chelsea. I done an opposition preview the other day. They're not convinced on Chelsea. What are you saying, Tommy, about tomorrow night?
I watched the show. You had those two Chelsea lads on. Don't remember their names, but they've got their own problems as well. So things are not going particularly well for them. I wouldn't say I'm confident for tomorrow, but I'm certainly, I think, a bit optimistic that we could potentially win this game. Chelsea, I've watched them recently. I think I watched the Fulham game, was the last game I watched, I think, and they look a bit disjointed. The names, the players they've got on paper, all look very good. But there's no cohesion there. They don't look like a unit. They don't look like they're all singing off the same hymn sheet. It's quite disjointed. So that's something they've got to really figure out. And so that's why their kind of performances have been poorer than they would like. And I think that certainly gives us some optimism going into the game tomorrow, because if they're like that again tomorrow, we're absolutely going to be in that game.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I fancy saying tomorrow, like I did against Newcastle. I don't know why, but I think West Ham defensively are looking quite decent. It's just the attack just seems disjointed with us at the minute. If we can sort the attack out, then I fancy us to do something. I'm going to get into a few topics of conversation, as I always do. And this is the rumour that we're hearing, is Zuma returns. Does Kurt Zuma start for you tomorrow, Tommy?
No, I wouldn't think he'd be okay to start the game. I think if he returns, it'll be to the bench. I think it would be. He's been out long enough that there's just no way he's got match fitness. And this is a big London derby. It'd probably be quite intense. I think this might be a bit much for him, but I think certainly it would be great to see him back on the bench, and he probably would come on and get some minutes in the game, I would think, but I doubt very much if he was in a position to start the game.
For me, I agree. I'm a bit nervous about having him back. I think I'd save him for another week and have him against Tottenham away. For me, I would have Ben in there, Ben Johnson. If Kieran's not fit, it's going to have to be Ben, isn't it? But I think if you put Zuma in there and he goes down, it could affect us long term. I just think with Zuma, he's a walking injury, isn't he? Let's be honest. Every time he's playing, you never know what Zuma you're going to get. But I wouldn't rush him back. I see people saying about making him start tomorrow. I think Ben done all right against Newcastle. If I'm honest, when Ben Johnson come on and played, I thought he done pretty well. So you wouldn't have him in tomorrow, then, Tommy, no?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't, for the reasons I already stated. But I agree on Ben Johnson. I thought, he obviously came on at half time against Newcastle with Kerr having to go off with whatever knock he's got. And I thought he did very well second half. There were no blunders. He defended solidly. Did all right, I think. Didn't look uncomfortable in the position. It actually possibly might be his best position long term. I actually would like to see maybe 90 minutes out of him against someone like Chelsea in a London derby in that position, because it could be the way forward for Ben Johnson as the right-sided centre back in a 3. It might just be the kind of role that suits him.
I totally agree there.
Yeah. So I'd actually like to see 90 minutes out of him in that position tomorrow.
I totally agree. I think Ben's okay, but it's not ideal. That's the only thing I will say. I just don't like this 3 at the back. I really don't, and I have it with the lads all the time. I'm just not convinced with West Ham with 3 centre half. Don't get me wrong, Nathan Guedes is quality, but the other two are suspect, in my opinion, Bonner and whoever's next to him, if it's Ben or if it's Gera. So, yeah, I don't know about the three at the back. I'm going to get to this, though. Have West Ham turned the corner recently, Tommy? Some people reckon that we've turned the corner, we're going to be all right. I'm not convinced just yet. I think tomorrow we will find out if West Ham have really turned the corner or if we've just been playing poor teams. What are you saying?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit premature. I can understand why they're saying it. We had a couple of good results in the FA Cup, albeit one was against a League One team and one was against a Brentford that weren't interested in progressing in the FA Cup for some reason. And yeah, Everton, we know. I mean, Everton were absolutely shockingly bad, like shockingly bad. Lampard was sacked after that game. So that's what gives me a little bit of pause. Now, granted, the result was good up in Newcastle. The performance was certainly better, more encouraging performance. But again, I feel like Newcastle have just hit a little bit of a speed bump.
I agree.
They're not playing as well as they were, and they are drawing a lot of games, and they're kind of like us, are struggling to score goals. And again, tomorrow, I mean, if a disjointed Chelsea turn up with no flow to their game and they don't play great, we could still potentially get something out of that. But even tomorrow, if that happens and we nick another point, I still think it'll be too early to say we're back, and that we're going to start climbing up the table and pull away from the relegation zone because, we have our problems too. I don't want to put the cart before the horse by saying, yeah, we've turned the corner and we're back and we'll be fine now. It's a little premature. We have our problems too. I mean, we had, one effort on target up at Newcastle and thankfully we scored from it. And that came from a set piece. We have a serious problem with creating opportunities from open play. We really do. We do not create very many opportunities. We create nothing really for whatever striker is there. And we've got to address that. I think for us to fully turn the corner and for me to be comfortable saying we have and that we're going to push up the table, we have got to find a way to start scoring some goals. Because as long as we're struggling, as long as we're going into games where we're struggling to get on the score sheet, then we're going to struggle to pick up 3 points. And that's my biggest worry at the moment. So tomorrow, I think if we were to win and if we were to actually look better in attack and create some opportunities and score a couple of goals and look like we've maybe solved the issue there, then I would feel much more optimistic going forward. But we'll wait and see what happens tomorrow with our attack. Because like you, I think our defence is going to be fine. I think defensively we're going to be solid. We're going to be difficult to score against. I just want to see what we can do at the other end of the pitch. Because I think, Benny's very wasteful at times. Bowen, while he's had an upturn in form, he still isn't back to his old goal-scoring self as much as I'd like. And Antonio never scores. So, if we can get, I don't know what Skamaka's situation is, whether he'll be able to start. Ings obviously came off the bench last week. So, he could potentially start tomorrow, but I think Moyes will still probably go with Antonio. So that's the big thing for me is can we get our attack straightened out? Because if we don't, I think we're going to keep dropping points. And that would be my worry, really.
For me, I keep seeing this on social media. I must admit, it does make me laugh. People think that we're back and we're massive. And I'm not convinced just yet, as I agree with everything you just said. First things first, tomorrow, I need to see something. This is a London derby. This is Chelsea. We've all got to go back and remember what they done to us at Stamford Bridge in 2022 when we got robbed. And we've got to galvanise the team. And I want to see a complete performance tomorrow. I agree with you about Newcastle. I thought Newcastle was a good defensive display, or solid defensive display as good as, but attack-wise, we was non-existent. Like Benny, for how much I like Benny, he was poor. Bowen was poor. Antonio worked hard, but he's poor in front of goal. So Like, what do you want? Do you want him working hard or do you want him scoring goals? I want the man scoring goals because he's their centre forward. So tomorrow, I need to see something. I need to see West Ham. This is a big game, right? As fans, we don't have just to go. Right, the fans are going there don't have to get up for this game. West Ham Chelsea is always a game where it takes care of itself, and the following week is Tottenham versus West Ham, so that's going to take care of itself and all. So we've got two good games to be up for, and there is no excuses really, like for West Ham not to turn up tomorrow. Like if we start slow against Chelsea, we could get done. That's the only problem, right? And they could put 2 or 3 passes if they're on form. But I see people saying like basically we're not losing games heavily, but we are losing games. Like the recent form is good, don't get me wrong, but I need to see something against Chelsea, mate. If we're going to compete at the top end, these are the sort of teams that we've got to be playing against and really having a go at. Do you know what I'm saying? Like these games are 3 hits for me, and I expect West Ham to do something tomorrow. I really do. So, Tommy, let's talk about tomorrow's game. How do you see West Ham setting up tomorrow? Same as usual.
Yeah, I think we'll see pretty much the same thing as last week. I think David Moyes will have really enjoyed the performance last week.
Yeah.
I think you'll feel that was a really good showing, particularly at the back and the midfield. And he likes to be solid at the back and in midfield first and foremost before he even starts thinking about how we're going to score goals.
Yeah.
So yeah, I expect to see the exact same formation and largely the same personnel. Obviously, we know Ben Johnson will come in for Kerr from the start. We don't know how Fitzmagic is. We don't know if he'll go with Ings instead of Antonio. I doubt it. Will he continue with Ben Rama, given that he didn't have a great game last week? So there might be a couple of changes in personnel, but I think the formation and the way we approach the game will be pretty much the same.
I think he'll drop Benny tomorrow. I really do. I think he's going to go with 4 nails tomorrow. 4 nails, Bowen, and 1 more. I think what he's going to try and do is going to try and press Chelsea tomorrow. And have like obviously Paqueta and Rice as the 2 in midfield, and then like a 3-man attack of like 4 nails, Bowen, and either Antonio or Ings. Do you know what? I actually wouldn't mind seeing Danny Ings tomorrow. Like I think Antonio's had a few good games. Like I think Danny Ings, he scored 6 goals this year. None of them are for us at the minute. He's the highest goal scorer at the club. So I'd like to see Danny Ings start a game and give him a go and see how he goes with Bowen. Like if it's a 2-man attack of Bowen and say Antonio, then so be it. But Chelsea are going to play Chelsea are playing a weird systems. Like if you obviously you watched the show the other day with the lads that I had on, and they don't know what system Potter's going to turn up with. Like they really don't. Like Chelsea always been known as 3 at the back, wing backs in like Reece James and either Chilwell or Cucurella. They played a 4 against Fulham the other day. 4-2-3-1 they played, and obviously if they go 3 at the back against us, then we're basically matching up with them. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know how it's going to pan out tomorrow. I really don't. Like in regards to players, obviously certain players tomorrow are going to be playing against their ex side. Emerson being one of them. How do you think Emerson's done on that left hand side, Tommy?
Yeah, I thought he did really well against Newcastle.
I agree.
He looks good as a wing back.
Yeah.
Now we haven't really seen him as an orthodox left back much. We've seen him a couple of times in the 4-2-3-1 where he's been the one on the left of the 3, and he's done okay there. But again, I think wing back is probably his best position. He does have the energy to get up and down the pitch, and he's good at carrying the ball. You know, his passing is decent. He didn't make any howlers. He does require help defensively, but I think that's why it suits him to have a left-sided centre back in a 3 behind him, because you know Aguerd was able to kind of help him through the game at Newcastle. You could see Aguerd was giving him instructions all the time of where to be positionally and who to pick up and where to be, and I think that helped Emerson defensively. So yeah, I thought he did really well against Newcastle in that position, and I think certainly he's our best option right now in that position. Cresswell ain't got the legs for that anymore. and there is no other really good option out there. I know people in the past have said, well, you could try Fornells there. And yeah, Fornells would work hard, but I just don't see that position working for him whatsoever. But yeah, I think no, I still think we need that position sorted in the summer, like a long-term
Yeah.
sort of sort for that position, and on the other side, frankly.
Mm.
But at the moment, I think Emerson is doing well enough that his performances are acceptable and not causing us any issues, certainly.
Mm. I think he's done all right, Emerson. If you want me to be honest, I think he's done pretty well. What I like about it, and West Ham Online can't stand this when I say that, I like his driving runs. He drives down that left hand side. He carries the ball. He's defensively not all that. I will say that, but going forward as a wing back, I think he's decent. You know what I'm saying? He can get past people. He puts a good cross in the other week for Bowen's goal. Yeah, I like Emerson. I really do. Is he the ideal left wing back for us? Not really. I think we need to go someone younger and fitter and fresher. But listen, I think he's doing better than what Cresswell's done in recent times. I will say that.
Yeah,
this is
and
a
I
good.
think
This is a good.
he'll be you'd think he'll be really motivated tomorrow against Chelsea as well, and he'll want to play
100%.
well. He'll be up for that.
Yeah, totally agree with you there. Peter says here, yeah, Antonio needs to bully their defence. I totally agree. If he turns up tomorrow, Antonio, and puts that same intensity that he did against Newcastle, I think he'll have a good game. The only problem with that is, I don't know whether you agree or not, Thiago Silva always has him in his pocket every time he plays him. Every single time. Like, I remember the game, like the reverse fixture, like at Stamford Bridge last year, and Thiago Silva had him literally under control. Really, I know Antonio scored, but he scored from like 2 yards out. Yeah, so like if West Ham needs to get around their defence basically, and obviously they've signed so many good players now that it's going to be pretty difficult to sort of get to Chelsea's sort of weak points. But what are Chelsea's weak points, Tommy, for you?
Yeah, I think. See, I've seen him as at different weak points every game. It's like because
Yeah,
Potter changes up the formations all the time, and depending on what formation he plays is where you pick out where the weakness is. And I've got absolutely no idea what formation he's going to play tomorrow.
yeah.
He could come out with 4-4-2. He could come out with 4-3-3. He could play a 4-2-3-1. He could play 5-2-3, 5-3-2. I mean, you bloody don't know what Potter. I think Potter doesn't really know at the moment what his best formation is or what his best 11 is. He's kind of still kind of experimenting with different formations there. So.
I think in one way of looking at it, I think that he's got to go at West Ham and attack. He can't turn up there with three defenders. That's the way I look at it. I think with the amount of talent that he has, he needs to go with an attacking system. That's why I think West Ham will set up 3 at the back tomorrow. I don't think West Ham are going to go 4 at the back or anything like that. If Potter turns up and he plays 3 centre arms, I think that's ideal for us. I really do. Like, do I see it happening? I don't see it happening at all. I think Enzo in the middle against Declan Rice is going to be a battle and a half. I think it's going to be a brilliant battle. And we're going to see tomorrow if Declan's world class, that we all say he is. Like we all know he's a world class operator. Rival fans don't think he's a world class player. They think he's a bang average player. But tomorrow, him against Enzo Fernandez, I think it's going to be a battle and a half. Obviously, up front, like Havertz for them is going to be a threat, but he ain't going to be as a big a threat as Fofana, who come on for them. I watched Fofana come on the other day, their new striker from Malmo, I think it is. He looks the real deal, really does. He looks powerful, strong. Obviously, Sterling's in there. Mudryk is in there. They've got some class players, Chelsea, but it's going to be a tricky one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. On paper they do, yeah. But like I say, they just haven't got it together yet. And like on paper, you look at the 11 they'll put out, whatever the formation is, and you think, geez, fucking that's a really good. There's 11 really, really good players there, but they just can't put it together at the moment. And I think that's our biggest reason for optimism is that they're disjointed and they're not playing as a team. And it's all just they look like a group of players that have never played together before. Like
Yeah,
all 11
agree.
of them were just gathered together and put on the pitch. All of them individually very talented, but they just don't really know what they're doing as a unit. And I think that's the biggest reason for optimism, more so than kind of how do we get at this individual or that individual. I think if we get in their faces and battle them, I think they'll remain really disjointed. I think we'll whatever little bit of rhythm they have, I think we can throw them off of that just by being physical, in their faces, high energy. Don't give them a second's rest. I think we can break down their attacks just through sheer kind of force of will, if you like. I think is what will beat Chelsea tomorrow if we're going to beat them. We've got to really turn up the heat on these guys, because I think if we put them in that kind of situation, I don't think they have enough fluidity to counter it. So yeah, I think they can be got at tomorrow, but we've got to be really at it and up for it, and in their faces, high energy, getting the tackles and blocks in. Don't give them any rest on the ball. Look, those Chelsea players are really good players, and if we kind of just let them have the ball and knock it about, then of course they're going to hurt us, and of course they're going to score goals. So we can't allow that to happen. We've got to have like intensity. My worry is, again, up at Newcastle in the early part of the game, we were all over the place, all over the place.
I agree. And the problem
and the worry for me tomorrow is that if we are not at it right from the first whistle, and we're all over the place in the opening kind of 15-20 minutes, like we were at Newcastle, we could already be 2-0 down, and then we're already in a big hole. And I think that's the game gone as far as even trying to win the game. Like, do you ever really see us scoring 3 goals with our lack of ability to create chances, with a lack of an actual proper goal scorer up front? We could dig ourselves into a hole. That's the worry. But if we can start quickly and get in their faces right from the off, and get after them, then I think we can knock them. I think they're relatively easily knocked out of their stride, and we have to look to do that tomorrow.
Would you put Flynn in tomorrow? Because I would. If I could, if you said to me, West Ham are going to play 2 attackers up front, so whether it's Ings and Antonio, Bowen and Antonio, whatever, right? Would you put Flynn Downs in? Because I think West Ham need to get amongst these and be a bit rough and tumble. I think they sit off. What you said is bang on. Like if we sit off Chelsea are just going to ping it all around us, put balls over the top for players to sort of run onto and basically suck us in, and then that's it. If they score early, then we're up against it. But would you play Flynn in this game? Because he's going to get stuck in all day long.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one to mull over, what way you want to go tomorrow. I think because of the fact, I tell you what, if you were going to drop Benrahma, rather than put Fornells in his position, which I don't think he can play very well, I'd almost rather say, you know what, we're just going to put that extra guy in midfield and bring someone like Flynn Downs in and go with 2 up top. Bring in Danny Ings if you want to play alongside Antonio. Don't be afraid to drop Bowen. He's not pulling up any trees. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to say, right, Jared, for tactical reasons, we're just going to have you sit this one out. We want to get Danny up front with Antonio. I know Antonio, as I said, doesn't score goals, but I think as a duo up top beside each other, I think Antonio could be kind of the wrecking ball up there, like cause them real physical problems. And Danny Ings then is the kind of striker that makes those little darting runs in between and
you get him behind, wouldn't he?
And like him and Antonio could actually work well as a pairing. So I'd be very tempted to go that way and say, okay, we're going to do the wing backs and then the 3 and the 2. And see if we can get an absolute complete grip of this game in the middle of the park.
Because I think midfield though, Tommy. I think Declan Rice against Enzo is a good battle. Then Chelsea's other midfielder, they don't know who's going to be. Right from doing the show the other day with them lads, they have got no idea. Like, it's going to be Kotovic, is it going to be there's another player they mentioned. They just don't know who's going to partner him because like Enzo's their man now, but they're like the man next to him. They've got no idea as Chelsea fans who I was speaking to who he's going to be. And I think if you go Flynn, Paqueta, and Rice, and allow Paqueta to sort of be like a box to box, float in and out, and have Declan Rice and Flynn there. I think I think West Ham could smash Chelsea to bits in the middle of the park all day long.
Yeah, I think so. I think Mason Mount will be there. I do think Mason Mount will start. But the problem is, if Moyes decides to go with the 3 in midfield and 2 up top, he's going to bring Souček in. It's going to be Souček and not Downs. And Souček nowadays is really just an auxiliary defender, really, isn't he? So I don't know about that. I'll be honest with you. I'd understand the formation change to that and the logic behind it.
Yeah.
But my worry is if Souček is there, maybe it could work if Souček is there just shielding in front. But do you need Souček there shielding in front when you got 2 wing backs and 3 centre backs? It's completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree.
Why would you not play Downs instead of Souček? In that game, because Downs has got a really good range of passing, very good tackler, high energy player. He can get about, really good player. So yeah, I would be 100% fine with something like that. But I just hope it would be Downs and not Souček, because I think Souček is unnecessary for this game. I think with Downs, Paqueta, and Rice, we could get a complete hold of midfield. Even 2 of them against Newcastle. Against the 3, I thought they did brilliantly. I think against Willock and Joe Linton and what was the other lad that came through their academy?
Longstaff.
I thought Paqueta and Rice did brilliantly against the 3. I thought they actually got the better of them in midfield. Rice and Paqueta. Rice was immense. So yeah, if we had another one in there like a Flynn Downs doing his thing, we could potentially completely control the middle of the park. And if we can do that, it's definitely fucking game on from there.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. I think if we can get hold of that midfield, then it's down to the 2-man attack that I think West Ham will go with. Like it will be like a 3-5-2, that I think will turn up tomorrow. People say it's 3-4-3. It ain't a 3-4-3. It's like he's gonna try and flood the midfield and basically try and put balls in. I would like to see Ings tomorrow. I really would. I don't want to see Ings on the bench. I think Ings is ready. Now, if Scamacca's not fit, put Ings in. And I agree. The only thing with Bowen, he does love to score against Chelsea. Yeah. He scored against Chelsea last.
James, if you imagine that scenario where tomorrow we've got the 3 in midfield and we've got, say, Antonio and Ings up top. If you can imagine, you can do a double swap after 70 minutes, and you still have a good double team. You could chuck Scamacca and Bowen in for those 2 on 70 minutes, and now they've got 20 minutes of Scamacca and Bowen to deal with. Fresh legs coming on, which could be another good duo. Really give them something new to think about.
I agree. I do. Like for me, like it's very sort of hit and miss with West Ham at the minute. Like it's just the attack is light. I see people saying about last week defensively we was very good. I totally agree. I really do. I think defensively as we went into the game, we was all right. I think the start of the game I thought was absolutely awful. I think like I could not believe what I was watching in that first 5 minutes. Like the first thing, the first goal that got disallowed, rightfully so. Then the second goal goes in. Well, once the replay goes back, you see Callum Wilson running through and he scores. So, like for me, I just want to see something. I want to see West Ham. Like with me, I'm not a fan of this system. I'm never have been, never will be. I just think it's too defensive for West Ham. I think West Ham could set up in a 4-3-3 system and they would look a lot more fluent. But I can understand it because it's a possession-based game. West Ham want to hold the ball, keep the ball, and basically wear the team down. But can you really wear down a Chelsea side? I don't think you can. Right? Do you know what I mean? So I'd rather the team go at Chelsea rather than sit there and wait and play possum, basically. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think the big thing, one of the big things for me tomorrow, James, is that Moyes doesn't play the badge, you know,
yeah, I agree.
because he's done that in the past where he's played against the badge and not the team that's in front of him.
Mm,
The reality is Chelsea are having a very poor season. They're struggling for results. They're struggling to score goals. They're disjointed. And there's a real chance for us to pick up a huge 3 points tomorrow. A real chance. But Moyes has
mm,
to realise what he's playing, and not who he's playing. You know what I mean? He can't say, "Oh, it's Chelsea. We're going to just get everyone back behind the ball and keep it tight for 30 minutes, and then see if we can nick something on the counter, and then same again second half."
yeah,
Show some bollocks. Realise what you're playing against, not who you're playing against,
mm,
and understand that they're vulnerable, and go and try and take advantage of that. And don't say, "Oh, it's Chelsea. We'll be cagey." They
yeah,
are there for the taking. They're honestly. I saw them against Fulham. At
yeah.
times, they're all
So
over
did
the
I.
place.
They were, mate.
At
I must
times,
admit,
yeah.
I agree. I,
At
I
times, they
totally
were
agree
all
with
over
you.
the place. Like there was nothing happening with Chelsea. They were like really poor
Yeah,
for a lot of that game. And Moyes has to understand that they're vulnerable, and let's take advantage of it because we need 3 points again badly. I know we got three
mm,
against Everton. We got a really nice point up in Newcastle, but we got to drag ourselves away from that relegation zone because we're right there still. We are
yeah,
not out of the woods by any stretch, and we can't take it for granted that picking up a point here and a point there is going to do it for us because it's not. We've got Tottenham away next. It's going to be tough in Tottenham's place. It just is.
mm,
It's a losable game. So we have to try and take advantage of Chelsea's vulnerability, and it would be a huge boost to everyone, for the fans, for the players. If we could turn Chelsea over tomorrow and play really well and beat them, it would be huge for us. And maybe then I could have some real optimism to think, yeah, okay, we're going to be fine. We're going to be
yeah,
okay. We're going to play well enough now. We've picked up, and hopefully we keep improving, keep picking up points. We could go into the Tottenham game then with a really let's fucking have a right go at these boys attitude,
I,
couldn't we? The pressure is
I
kind of
agree.
off of it. It takes the
Yeah,
pressure off the Tottenham game, right? We can go up to Tottenham and say, look, if we get a point, we're perfectly happy with that because we beat Chelsea. You know what I
mm,
mean? So yeah, we need to really fucking not be afraid of these guys tomorrow and just have a right go at them. And I don't
I
mean throw
totally.
the kitchen sink and be silly about it, but I mean
Mm,
just attitude wise, let's not play the badge. Let's play the team that's in front of us, which is not great right now.
I totally agree with everything you just said, mate. I really do. Before I come to predictions, yeah, just to round up what you just said, I agree. I agree. West Ham need to go at this team. They're not gelled as a team yet. They're a bunch of lags just being thrown together. They don't even probably know like what best positions that they want to play in and all that. They don't know what system they want to play in. So what chance have they got knowing what players he wants to pick? So listen, I agree. It's all about the performance tomorrow. Like whatever happens, win, lose or draw, if West Ham go out there, have a right go and don't get what we deserve, then we've got to take it on the chin. But if West Ham go out there, set up in a way just to sit there and wait for Chelsea to score, then I ain't gonna be happy. Like, do you know what I'm saying? I do agree with you. We're not out of the woods just yet. I think the next three games will really decide it for me. I think the Newcastle game we've done very well defensively, but attack is just not right. But this is a good game for West Ham to play. Do you know what I mean? It really is. So let's come to it, Tommy. Predictions time. What are you saying tomorrow?
Like I said, I'm optimistic. I'm encouraged by the performance up at Newcastle. Like I say, we're still not as good in attack as I'd like us to be. But I think defensively in the midfield, I thought we were really good, bearing the
Mm,
first kind of 10 minutes up there, which was really ropey. But other than that, I thought we were really solid. It's a shame we don't have a fuller team. We don't have Zuma.
yeah,
Skamaka won't be able to start. I don't believe he'll start Danny Ings tomorrow, unfortunately. Um, I think he sees Ings as a sub, to be honest. But despite that, I mean, I was encouraged enough. The worry is our inability to score goals. I think given the personnel I believe will be on the pitch, I think we'll get another point. So I think probably maybe this could be a 0-0. Like it really could. This really could be a 0-0. But I think we'll find a goal from somewhere, and I think they will find one from somewhere too. So I think we could have the same result as last week. I think this could be another 1-1.
Big up to Lucas. You know what I mean? All the way from Maryland. You know what I mean? Big up to Lucas. Love Lucas. For me, I agree. I think West Ham will have a right go tomorrow, though. I really do. I don't know why. I've just got this vibe, like I did it last week with Newcastle. I fancy us to do something tomorrow. I really do. I think it ends up 1-1. I think we score. I think they equalise and it filter out into a 1-1 draw. I think West Ham are going to set up in a way which is defensive to try and hit Chelsea on the break. Chelsea have got to come forward. Chelsea are not going there for the point. Chelsea are going there for the free. So that suits West Ham down to the ground. And West Ham are going to try and play counter-attacking football. I think it's a big game for Declan Rice. I think we will see if Declan Rice is the player can handle a World Cup winner. I think he can. I think he's a better player than Enzo Fernandez. And the amount of arguments I've had with Chelsea fans recently saying that Enzo's better does make me laugh. Right, but we move on from that. I think it's a big game for Emerson. Yeah. Emerson's going to play. Ex-Chelsea again. Obviously, if Zuma does come back and play, he's an ex-Chelsea player. So we've got a lot of ex-Chelsea players who might have points to prove, and you know what it's like. They seem to score or perform against their former club. So I will take a point against Chelsea, but I think if we turn up and the vibe is good, I think we can beat them. I really do. Yeah. And I think if we do beat them, then it's the signs are looking rosy that everything's turning around. Go on, Tom.
Yeah, I just to be honest, James, I don't want to see us go fucking 1-0 down again. You know what I mean? No. Just for a change, it would be nice if we can get on the front foot and take a lead, because I think that could be important too. It's not that I don't think we could get back into it if we go 1-0 down. I think we could, but it would be nice to just hit the front. You know, to start the game well, be playing well, maybe be the better team, or at least be, going toe-to-toe with them and take a lead. Because I think that could be huge tomorrow. If we can play well and get a lead, I think the tails will really be up. I think the players' tails will really be up. Because I know there's a statistic, I don't know if you've seen it, but only Southampton have spent more minutes trailing in games this season than us. And I'm sick of fucking trailing. We did it again last week, trailing in the game, and now we're chasing it. And I'm sick of this thing. Oh, we go behind and then we kind of find a response from somewhere. I don't want to see that tomorrow. I want to see us get on the front foot, go toe to toe with these guys, and just for once take a bloody lead in a game. Because I think there's a real chance if we can take the lead tomorrow and our tails are up and our confidence is kind of flowing from that, then we have a great chance to actually go on and beat this lot tomorrow.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think if West Ham score first tomorrow, I don't think they lose the game. I'm not saying that we win the game, but I just don't think we lose. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's just the goal for it tomorrow. Like whatever Moyes does tomorrow, it's going to be big. Whatever happens, like because if he goes ultra negative or he plays certain players that shouldn't be playing, if he risks Zuma for any reason, if certain players are not fit or whatever, then he's got a big job on his hands, Moyes. Like as we said earlier on, do I think he's turned the corner? I don't think he has just yet, but I think if we can get a win out of the next two games, I'll be quite happy. Do you know what I mean? I think the Tottenham game is just a game that we just never perform in. Like we've only ever performed in there once, like in recent times, and that was when there was no fans in the gaff. So we're going to have to sort of turn up tomorrow and give Chelsea a game. Like I want us to be free flowing tomorrow. That's what I want to see. I want to see West Ham free flowing. And if we lose the game, I will come on here after and I will say it's unlucky that the lads lost, but I can see that we had a right go and against another side. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? What I don't want to see tomorrow is we just sit in our shells, start slow like we did against Newcastle, and then basically end up either losing the game or drawing a game that we could have been a bit more positive in. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's basically it from me. Any final thoughts, Tommy, before we go?
No, I think we've basically covered everything. So yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, that is it from me and Tommy. Please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. We've just gone over 1,400, so that is good moves, making moves in this world, and yeah. So yeah, please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Goes on well. I will be back tomorrow, straight after the game. I mean, literally as soon as the game finishes, I'm going live straight away because I've got to be somewhere for 3 o'clock. So I will be talking about the game tomorrow, and hopefully West Ham have got some sort of positive result tomorrow. If we draw the game, then I will take a point right now. If we win the game, I'll be absolutely buzzing, and I will have a lot of Chelsea fans who are not going to be happy with me after I take a few quid off them. But it is what it is. So yeah, we will see what happens tomorrow. Anyway, from me to you, have a good Friday, and I will see you soon. Peace.
There it is. I've never found a love like this.